Project Vinland failed. Or did it? After having to bury his best friend in the previous chapter, pack up his belongings, and put all his people back on the ship to leave, Thorfinn's plan of achieving Vinland failed. A land without slavery, war, or violence was something he couldn't achieve. His best friend Einar fell victim to that same cycle of violence after he entered that cycle himself, just a few chapters ago. Vinland Saga is an incredibly beautiful story from start to finish, and while I understand some people might not have liked the ending as much as I did, honestly I understand why you might ask for more or want more from the ending. When I first read it, I thought it was a decent ending, maybe a solid 7 out of 10, but then I read it again and again and again. And now personally, I think that it's actually a beautiful ending. So beautiful that I have his work permanently tattooed on my body. The last page alone is truly what did it for me, with the quote being placed over the image of the seeds that grew, which is obviously a metaphor, which I interpreted as the mentality and ideas of a world of peace and companionship that Thorfinn so desperately wanted. A world without war, slavery, or violence. Because at the end of the day, all those things lead to unnecessary suffering and violence where there's no winners on either side. These seeds were the idea and mentality of Thorfinn that were clearly being challenged by external forces, which we see in the panels in the last chapter, where the rabbits are eyeing it, waiting for the right opportunity to consume it, the native waiting on the soil, covering himself from the rain, doubting if anything's even gonna grow or sprout from these seeds. I know he had a lot of doubt going on in his mind at this moment. Constantly checking on the seeds, not giving them ample time to grow, and fending them off from the birds that were trying to get at them. But eventually, something sprouted from these seeds. These seeds didn't only contain the ideas and concepts that Thorfinn was looking to spread and live by, but the peace that he so desperately strived for. Something else also sprouted from these seeds. Prayers. Prayers that we must not let die out. This panel right here is what, after going over multiple times and spending days thinking about, made the ending so impactful and well done in my opinion. This is what single-handedly reminded me and reinforced the ideas and goals that Yukimura wanted to spread and accomplish with his work of art. It's truly hard to try and change the world in such an impactful way as just one man, or even a group of people. But by planting these seeds into the reader's mind, everyone who read Vinland Saga from start to finish, I think Yukimura was able to achieve his goal. So while Project Vinland may have failed in a literal sense, I don't think that it failed in a figurative sense, because us readers and viewers just can't let those prayers die out. Personally, I wouldn't consider an author achieving what they set out to do with their story as a bad ending, but you're entitled to your own opinion. I'm not really here to argue, in all honesty. I know some people wanted to hear more things in regards to Canute or Thorkel, but personally, I don't think that was necessary. And sure, more content is always fun as a fan of the series, but it is what it is. I also saw some comments asking about what happens to Thorfinn afterwards, but I think people forget that this whole story is loosely based off of real history. He most likely just went off to live as a merchant in his homeland, and then most likely just died peacefully of natural causes. I mean, people lived to like 35 back then. But feel free to interpret the ending as you want. Obviously, it's more open-ended, so you can kind of assume what you want to happen, if you will. Be sure to comment down below what you think actually happened, and again, I'm not really here to argue. I just enjoyed the ending, and I see it getting a lot of hate, but to each their own again. But that's just my 2 cents. I appreciate it if you made it this far into the video. Like, comment, and subscribe for more anime and Vinland Saga content, because I will be going over the full story much more in depth in a future video.